Hello guys, today I am going to explain very interesting movie. Let's start. The movie is set in medieval England and opens with Lady Marian, the king's daughter, singing inside the royal bathroom. Her maid, Broomhilda, interrupts her and reminds her to prepare for the day. As Lady Marian gets up from the bathtub, it is revealed that she is wearing a chastity lock. It becomes clear that the king has taken measures to safeguard his daughter's assets and protect her from unscrupulous men. The movie portrays Lady Marian's struggle to find someone who can unlock her chastity lock, which was unfortunately lost a long time ago. In a subsequent scene, a group of men are seen dancing to hip-hop music, with one of the dancers singing about Prince John and his sheriff's oppressive tax policies in England. Meanwhile, we are introduced to the protagonist of the story, Robin Hood, who is being taken to the infamous cell of Cawley Prison in Jerusalem for his involvement in the Crusades. Despite being questioned by one of the guards about who sent him there, Robin remains tight-lipped. Despite being subjected to a tongue loosener punishment by the guard, Robin Hood refuses to divulge any information. The guard eventually gives up and chains Robin next to a prisoner named Asnes, with the intention of returning for further interrogation later. Robin and Asnes quickly strike up a friendship and begin to plan their escape from the prison. Despite Robin's serious charges, Asnes is imprisoned for something as minor as jaywalking. Together, they hatch a plan to break the metal bar that is holding their chains and make their getaway. Fortunately, the plan to break the metal bar is successful, and Robin and Asnes manage to free themselves and the other prisoners in the cell. They make their escape through the ventilator. In the following scene, Robin and Asnes find themselves on a beach, where Robin expresses his gratitude towards Asnes for his help. As a gesture of their newfound friendship, Robin offers to assist Asnes in any way possible. Moved by Robin's offer, Asnes produces a picture of his son, Achu, and entrusts Robin with the task of looking after him, as he is currently in England. Robin is taken aback by Asnes' request but accepts the responsibility of looking after Achu, despite being unsure how the young exchange student ended up in England. Determined to keep his promise, Robin embarks on a perilous journey from Jerusalem to England, swimming across the sea instead of traveling by boat. Once he arrives in England, he mounts a horse and sets off towards his home. Along the way, he stumbles upon a group of soldiers mercilessly beating an African boy. Recognizing that the victim is Achu, Robin intervenes to stop the attack. Robin springs into action, using his formidable combat skills to single-handedly defeat the soldiers and save Achu. Together, they ride towards Robin's home, Locksley Hall. However, upon arrival, they find a man towing the house away. Furious, Robin confronts the man and demands to know what's happening. The man hands him a scroll, revealing that Prince John has seized Robin's house for failure to pay taxes on time. Robin explains that it was impossible for him to pay the taxes while he was imprisoned in Jerusalem, but the man ignores his pleas and takes the house away regardless. Robin comes across his blind servant, Blinken, and they express their joy at reuniting after a long time. However, Robin's happiness is short-lived as Blinken informs him that his father has passed away. To compound the tragedy, Blinken reveals that Robin's mother, brothers, dog, cat, and goldfish also perished while he was away. Robin is devastated by the news and feels alone in the world. During their conversation, Blinken presents Robin with a pendant, which was his father's last gift to him. Robin is curious about what is inside it, and Blinken reveals that it holds the key to the greatest treasure in all the land. Soon after, Robin introduces Achu to Blinken, and the trio continues talking. Suddenly, a boy comes running towards them from the nearby woods. Robin's compassionate nature prompts him to inquire about the boy's situation when he sees him running towards them from the woods. The boy explains that he is being pursued by the sheriff of Rottingham. Without hesitation, the sheriff arrives with his men and demands that Robin hand over the boy. However, Robin refuses to comply and a heated argument ensues between the two. In the end, Robin emerges victorious and humiliates the sheriff in front of the onlookers. He promises to avenge the wrongs committed by Prince John before sending the group away. After the sheriff informs Prince John about Robin's pursuit, we learn that Prince John has seized power as the acting ruler of the kingdom while his brother is away fighting in the Crusades. Unlike his benevolent brother, Prince John is a cruel and selfish ruler who imposes exorbitant taxes on the people for his own gain. After hearing the news about Robin, Prince John becomes worried and desperate for a solution. He decides to seek advice from his trusted advisor, Latrine, who resides in the dungeons. John explains the situation to Latrine and asks for her help in defeating Robin. In exchange, Latrine requests that John help her in winning the affection of the sheriff, who she has a crush on. Though John is skeptical of the sheriff's willingness to reciprocate her feelings, he agrees to assist Latrine in her pursuit. As Robin and his crew travel towards the castle, they encounter a giant named Little John who blocks their way on a bridge. Little John demands a toll tax from them before letting them pass. Robin refuses to pay the tax and challenges Little John to a fight. The two engage in a fierce battle, Despite his small stature, Robin successfully overpowers the giant and knocks him into the nearby river, which has a low water level. To his surprise, Little John is unable to swim and begins to drown in the shallow water. Initially taken aback, Robin quickly realizes the severity of the situation and rushes to save Little John, pulling him to safety. With this, he wins the giant's trust and makes him a part of the team. Before leaving, Little John calls his best friend, Will, who happens to be a dagger expert. He can slice through anything midair. With his insane dagger techniques, the group sets off on their journey towards Prince John's castle with Little John, Will, Achu, Blinken, and Robin leading the way. On the other hand, Prince John and the sheriff are having a party inside the castle, with John's niece, Lady Marian, joining them later to observe the celebrations. The sheriff, who is taken with Marian's beauty, immediately starts trying to charm her, but she pays him no attention. Just then, Robin bursts in with a dead hog slung over his shoulder and drops it onto the royal table. John and the sheriff are incensed by the intrusion, but to their surprise, Lady Marian is impressed. Robin then introduces himself to Marian and kisses her hand, which infuriates the sheriff and prompts him to challenge Robin to a fight. Robin easily defeats the sheriff, and in response, the prince calls upon his guards. Despite being outnumbered, Robin fights valiantly until his gang arrives and barges through the door to attack the guards. In no time, they subdue all the bad guys, impressing the entire crowd, including Lady Marian. Robin warns Prince John to reduce the taxes, or else he will eliminate him the next time before leaving. In the following scene, Little John attempts to rally some men to join the fight, but Robin's uninspiring speech puts them to sleep. However, Achu steps forward, dons his spectacles, and delivers a powerful and concise speech that stirs up the crowd. The people agree to join forces with Robin and fight against the oppressive Prince John of England. The following day, the men don their Robin Hood costumes and start training under the guidance of Robin and Will. However, their skills are so poor that they can't even defeat the practiced dummies. Meanwhile, at the castle, the sheriff plots with Don Giovanni, an Italian mafia boss, to assassinate Robin. Giovanni brings along two accomplices, Dirty Ezio, a silent assassin, and Filthy Luca, a renowned archer who has won multiple gold medals. After some discussion, they decide to lure Robin into an archery competition at the palace, with the aim of having Luca defeat him. Their plan involves having the crowd turn against Robin and label him a loser, at which point Dirty Ezio will assassinate him secretly. To their amusement, even the normally silent Dirty Ezio laughs at the plan. However, Lady Marian overhears the entire conversation from her balcony and becomes worried. After hearing the conversation, Lady Marian immediately wakes up her maid, Broomhilda, and fills her in on the dangerous plot against Robin. The two discuss the situation and decide to sneak out of the castle to warn Robin. Marian quickly calls her horse, jumps onto it, and lands safely. However, when it's Broomhilda's turn, her horse suddenly moves away, causing her to fall to the ground. Once they reach Robin's camp, Marian reveals the sheriff's evil plot to them. Initially, Robin decides to stay out of trouble, but when he hears about the archery competition that will be organized in the palace, he starts having second thoughts. Despite the danger to his life, he feels compelled to attend the festival if it includes an archery competition. After that, Robin entertains his men with a performance, singing behind a curtain in an operatic voice. Despite drawing his sword during the act, the men on the other side of the curtain mistakenly believe he has taken out something else, and are left in awe after the performance. Afterward, Robin takes Marian to a private place to confess his love for her. As Robin proceeds to express his feelings for Marian in a secluded place, he attempts to make a move on her, but realizes that she is wearing a chastity belt. Marian then reveals that her father has put the device on her to prevent her from engaging in any activities before marriage. Disappointed, Robin tries to kiss her, but their moment is interrupted by Broomhilda, who reminds them that they are running out of time. With this, the two depart on their horses, but not before vowing to meet Robin again. The next scene takes us to the palace, where the annual archery competition is about to begin. Skilled archers from all over the land have come, hoping to win the ultimate prize. Robin and his men are also there, but they are in disguise, dressed as women. Robin is dressed as an old man, while his men are disguised as women. As the competition commences, only two men are able to hit the bullseye, Filthy Luca and Robin. The sheriff quickly realizes that Robin is one of the competitors in disguise. Meanwhile, Dirty Ezio is hiding in a nearby tower, ready to shoot at Robin. After the first round between Filthy Luca and Robin ended in a draw, they are instructed to have one more go at it. Robin steps up to the line and, with a confident stance, takes aim and hits the bullseye once again. With a grin, he removes his disguise, revealing himself to be Robin, much to the delight of Marian and his men. However, when it's Filthy Luca's turn, he takes a good aim and releases his arrow. It flies through the air with precision, piercing through Robin's arrow and hitting a double bullseye. As the crowd cheers for Filthy Luca and jeers at Robin, calling him a loser, Robin is stunned. He knows that he is never supposed to lose in an archery contest. To make sure everything is fine, he takes out the movie's script to double-check. Fortunately, he finds that he has one more shot left. In a surprising turn of events, Filthy Luca pushes Robin just as he is about to shoot his arrow, causing him to shoot upwards instead. The arrow travels through the air, over the heads of the audience, and lands on the bullseye, making Robin the winner. The crowd erupts into cheers and applause, and even the sheriff is impressed. Meanwhile, Prince John is outraged and storms off in a huff. Robin, with his usual charm, winks at Marion and then takes a bow, basking in his victory. Amidst the celebration, the sheriff suddenly interrupts and orders his men to arrest Robin for execution. This causes great concern for Lady Marion, who decides to take matters into her own hands. She approaches the sheriff and offers to marry him on the condition that he spares Robin's life. The sheriff, blinded by his desire for Marion, agrees to the proposal and leaves the scene to prepare for the wedding. In the following scene, a hangman places a noose around Robin's neck as a precaution in case Marion changes her mind. Soon after, the sheriff arrives with a minister, followed by a beautifully dressed Marion, accompanied by her uncle, Prince John. As Robin watches everything unfold, the marriage ceremony begins, and the sheriff accepts his vows right away. However, when it's Marion's turn to take her vows, she hesitates. Achu sees an opportunity and shoots an arrow towards Robin, who is about to be hanged. The arrow hits the noose and cuts it, freeing Robin from certain death. The battle between Robin's men and the guards of the sheriff erupts in full swing. Swords clashing, arrows flying, and fists pounding, it's chaos all around. Meanwhile, the sheriff manages to grab Marion and takes her to his room, intending to have his way with her. However, as he tries to remove her clothes, he discovers the chastity lock on her. With a determined look on his face, the sheriff brings in a drilling machine and attempts to break the lock on Marion's chastity belt. Despite his efforts, the lock remains intact. Just then, Robin bursts into the room and challenges the sheriff to a duel. The two engage in a fierce battle, with swords clashing and sparks flying. As they fight, Robin's pendant shatters and a key falls out. The key lands on the lock and fits perfectly, revealing that Marion's virginity is the greatest treasure in the land. The boys are momentarily distracted by this revelation, but soon resume their fight with renewed vigor. The battle rages on for what seems like hours, with neither side gaining the upper hand. Finally, in a moment of confusion, Robin accidentally stabs the sheriff with his sword, and the sheriff falls to the ground. As the dust settles and the chaos subsides, Latrine approaches the injured sheriff with a pill that can save his life. However, she demands that he marry her as payment for the medicine. With no other options, the sheriff agrees and is soon dragged away by Latrine. In the final scene, Robin and Marion exchange their wedding vows in front of a joyous crowd. Suddenly, the king returns from his crusade and condemns his brother, John, for his cruel and evil ways. The king orders John to be locked away and rewards Robin for his bravery and valor. The king also returns Robin's house to him and abolishes all the unjust taxes imposed on the people, earning their praise and admiration. Finally, Robin and Marion share a passionate kiss. In the post-credit scene, as Robin attempts to consummate his marriage with Marion, he discovers that despite having the key, the chastity lock remains firmly in place. The movie concludes with Robin calling for a locksmith. Movie ends. Interestingly, throughout the course of the movie, Prince John's facial mole mysteriously changes positions several times. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on the notification, and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.